Welcome to Lesson 2.9 of the Grant Architect course. In this lesson, we will explore the pre-proposal contact, the practice of communicating with program officers before submitting grant applications. Pre-proposal contact can provide valuable information about funder priorities, help you assess fit before investing in a full application, clarify requirements, and begin building relationships that support your application. However, pre-proposal contact requires skill and judgment. Done poorly, it can annoy funders and hurt your chances. Done well, it provides competitive advantage. By the end of this lesson, you will understand when pre-proposal contact is appropriate, how to approach program officers effectively, and what to communicate during these interactions. Pre-proposal contact provides several types of value. Fit assessment allows you to gauge whether your project aligns with funder priorities before investing substantial effort in an application. A brief conversation can reveal whether the program officer sees potential in your work or suggests it is not a good fit. This assessment can save significant time and guide application development. Requirement clarification resolves ambiguities in NOAFOs or guidelines before you invest in application development. Program officers can explain what they mean by unclear requirements, describe what they are looking for, or clarify processes. This information improves application quality. Relationship building begins establishing connection with program staff. Funders prefer working with people they know. Pre-proposal contact introduces you to program officers and begins relationships that may benefit your application and future interactions with the funder. Competitive intelligence provides insight into funder perspectives and preferences. Program officers may share information about priorities, common applicant mistakes, or what makes strong applications in their experience. This intelligence informs your application strategy. Appropriate timing for pre-proposal contact depends on several factors. Contact must be allowed by the funder. Some funders welcome pre-proposal communication while others prohibit it. Federal programs may have specific rules about applicant contact. Foundation cultures vary. Check guidelines to determine what is permitted before reaching out. Genuine questions should motivate contact. Program officers can tell when you have not read the NOAFO or are wasting their time. Contact should be for substantive questions not answered in publicly available materials. Asking questions you could have answered yourself reflects poorly on you. Good timing means sufficient time before the deadline for meaningful exchange. Contacting a program officer the day before the deadline is not useful. Contact early enough to receive response, process information, and incorporate insights into your application. Appropriate stage means you have done enough research to engage productively. You should have read the NOAFO carefully, researched the program, and developed preliminary project ideas. Uninformed contacts waste program officer time and damage your reputation. Federal program contact follows specific structures and rules. Designated contacts are specified in NOAFOs, identifying who handles applicant questions and through what channels. Respect these designations. Contacting unauthorized staff may violate rules and will likely not provide useful information anyway. Communication rules often require written questions and may restrict content. Federal programs must ensure fair competition, so oral communications may not be permitted or may need to be documented. Read and follow the communication rules specified in each NOFO. Webinars and events often accompany major federal funding opportunities. These informational sessions provide opportunities to learn about the program and often include Q&A periods. Attending these events is a form of pre-proposal contact that provides valuable information. Fairness requirements mean all applicants must have access to the same information. Questions and answers may be posted publicly so everyone has equal access. Information shared with one applicant must be shared with all. This framework limits but does not eliminate the value of pre-proposal contact. Foundation contact typically differs from federal contact in important ways. More flexibility characterizes foundation processes. Foundations often have fewer formal rules about applicant communication. Phone calls and informal conversations may be welcomed where federal programs require written questions. Relationship orientation means personal connections matter more at foundations. Building relationships with program officers can significantly influence your success. Foundations may prefer to fund organizations and people they know rather than strangers. Program officer role at foundations often includes more decision-making influence than federal counterparts. Foundation program officers may recommend grants to boards and significantly shape what gets funded. Their impressions of you and your work matter. Variable access exists across the foundation sector. Some foundations are very accessible, welcoming calls and meetings with potential applicants. Others are difficult to reach or discourage pre-proposal contact. Foundation culture varies, so assess each foundation's norms. Preparing for contact ensures productive interactions. Research first means knowing everything publicly available about the funder and program before reaching out. Review the NOFO thoroughly. Research the foundation's priorities and giving history. Know their recent grants and stated interests. Coming to the conversation informed demonstrates respect and professionalism. Developing questions prepares specific, substantive questions for the conversation. What do you genuinely need to know that you cannot find elsewhere? Write out your questions in advance. Prioritize them in case time is limited. Clear questions lead to useful answers. Crafting your pitch prepares a concise summary of your organization and proposed project. Program officers may ask you to describe what you are proposing. Be ready with a 30-second and a 2-minute version. Practice until you can explain your work clearly and compellingly. Anticipating questions prepares you to answer likely program officer queries. They may ask about your qualifications, your specific approach, your geographic focus, or your track record. Being prepared for common questions makes you appear professional and thoughtful. Making the initial contact effectively opens the door to productive conversation. Choose appropriate channel based on funder preferences. Some funders prefer email, others are more responsive to phone calls. NOFO specifications should be followed. For foundations, check websites for guidance or try both channels. Introduce yourself briefly with relevant background on you and your organization. State your name, title, organization, and enough context for the program officer to understand who you are. Keep the introduction concise. You can provide more detail if asked. State your purpose clearly by explaining why you are reaching out. Are you assessing fit before applying? Clarifying a specific requirement? Introducing your organization for future opportunities? Clear purpose statements help program officers respond helpfully. Request appropriately by asking for what you need respectfully. Would you have 15 minutes to discuss whether our project fits your priorities? Can you clarify what is meant by significant community engagement? Specific, reasonable requests are more likely to be granted. Developing a conversation script helps you communicate effectively during pre-proposal contacts. The opening combines your introduction and purpose statement. Hello, I am Jane Smith, Grants Director at Community Health Partners. I am calling to discuss our potential application to your Healthy Communities initiative and ask a few questions about fit. This opening establishes who you are and why you are calling. Your organization description briefly explains your mission and work. We are a community health center serving 40,000 patients annually in underserved areas of the metro region. We have been operating for 25 years and focus on preventive care and chronic disease management. This provides context for your question. Your question or proposal presents what you want to discuss. We are considering proposing a diabetes prevention program targeting high-risk adults. I wanted to check whether this type of intervention fits your current priorities and ask about your expectations for outcome measurement. Specific questions enable specific answers. Closing thanks them and confirms next steps. Thank you for your time today. You mentioned I should email you our concept summary. I will send that by Friday. Shall I include anything else? Clear closing ensures you know how to proceed. Pre-proposal contacts should communicate key messages about your organization and proposed work. Your fit explains how your work aligns with funder priorities. Demonstrate that you understand what they fund and show how your work advances their goals. Program officers want to fund work that fits their priorities. Show them the connection. Your capacity conveys why you can deliver on what you propose. What qualifies your organization for this work? What track record demonstrates your capability? Funders worry about organizations that cannot execute. Communicating capacity builds confidence. Your difference explains what distinguishes your approach. Among all the organizations they might fund, why you? What is unique about your program, your approach, your community relationships, or your expertise? Differentiation matters in competitive funding environments. Your questions present specific queries you need answered. Ask the substantive questions you prepared. Listen carefully to answers. Probe for clarification if needed. The information you gather should genuinely inform your decision about whether and how to apply. Avoiding common mistakes protects your reputation and relationships. Do not ask questions answered in the no-fo, as this demonstrates you did not read it. If you ask about the deadline that is clearly stated on page 3, the program officer knows you are wasting their time. Only ask questions not answered in available materials. Do not push for commitments because program officers cannot pre-approve applications. Asking will this application be funded makes them uncomfortable and may damage your relationship. They can provide guidance and perspective, but not funding commitments. Do not be pushy or demanding, as this disrespects their time and role. Program officers are busy professionals helping many applicants. Aggressive or entitled behavior is remembered negatively. Be respectful and appreciative of their time. Do not misrepresent your organization or proposed work. Honesty is essential for long-term relationships. If you overstate your capacity or mischaracterize your work, you may get caught later. Even if you do not, dishonesty undermines the trust relationships depend on. Processing program officer responses helps you act on the information received. Listen carefully to what they actually say. Take notes during or immediately after conversations. Capture specific guidance, suggestions, and answers to your questions. Their exact words matter more than your interpretation of them. Read between the lines for what they might be implying. Program officers may not say directly that your application will not be competitive. Instead, they might say, "We have received many strong applications in this area," or "Our priorities have shifted slightly." Learn to hear soft no signals. Assess encouragement level by gauging how enthusiastic their response is. Are they excited about your potential application, neutral, or discouraging? Enthusiasm level indicates fit and interest. Cautious or lukewarm responses may signal concerns. Adjust plans accordingly by letting their input shape your approach. If they suggest your project should emphasize a particular aspect, adjust accordingly. If they indicate poor fit, reconsider whether to apply. Pre-proposal contact only adds value if you act on what you learn. Following up after pre-proposal contact maintains relationships and ensures clarity. Thank them by expressing appreciation for their time. A brief thank you email sent the same day or next day is appropriate. Acknowledge that they took time from busy schedules to help you. Summarize understanding by confirming key takeaways from the conversation. Your email might say, "I want to confirm my understanding that our project would fit best if we emphasize the community engagement component as we discussed." This confirms alignment and creates a record. Provide requested information if they asked for anything. If they asked you to send a concept summary or additional information about your organization, send it promptly and professionally. Following through on commitments demonstrates reliability. Stay connected by maintaining the relationship without being bothersome. You might share relevant updates periodically, but do not contact them weekly with questions. Finding the right balance keeps you on their radar without becoming annoying. Sometimes pre-proposal contact is inappropriate or inadvisable. Explicit prohibition occurs when NOAFOs state no contact is permitted. Federal programs may prohibit applicant communication with program staff during the competition. Violating such prohibitions can disqualify your application. Follow stated rules. Cultural norms at some foundations discourage pre-proposal contact. Some foundations prefer applications without prior contact. If a foundation's guidelines suggest they do not want to be contacted, or if they do not list contact information, respect that preference. Timing issues arise when you are too close to the deadline for productive exchange. Contact should occur early enough to receive response, process information, and adjust your application. Last-minute contact wastes everyone's time and signals poor planning. Poor track record from previous negative interactions suggests caution. If you have had difficult experiences with a particular program officer, consider whether contact is likely to be productive. Sometimes the best approach is a strong application without pre-proposal conversation. Pre-proposal contact is part of building long-term relationships with funders. Beyond single applications, relationships outlast individual funding opportunities. Even if you do not receive funding this cycle, a good relationship may lead to future success. Program officers remember positive interactions and may advocate for strong applicants over time. Value beyond grants includes information sharing, field connections, and advice. Program officers know their fields deeply and often willingly share insights. They may connect you with other funders, partners, or resources. Relationships provide value even without direct funding. Cultivation over time means relationships deepen through consistent, appropriate engagement. Stay connected without being demanding. Share relevant updates, attend funder events. Over years, these touch points build genuine professional relationships. Professional network perspective recognizes that program officers are part of your professional community. They attend conferences, publish articles, and participate in field activities. Engaging with them as professionals, not just as potential funding sources, builds more authentic relationships. Let us summarize what we have covered in this lesson on pre-proposal contact. Value of pre-proposal contact includes fit assessment before investing in applications, clarification of ambiguous requirements, relationship building with program staff, and competitive intelligence about funder perspectives. Strategic pre-proposal contact provides advantages throughout the grant-seeking process. Approach for effective contact involves thorough preparation, including research and question development, clear communication of your fit, capacity, and difference, and appropriate follow-up that maintains relationships. Preparation and professionalism make contacts productive. Judgment is essential for knowing when contact is appropriate and when to refrain. Respect explicit prohibitions, funder cultural norms, timing considerations, and relationship history. Not every opportunity warrants pre-proposal contact. Choose strategically. In our next lesson, we will explore pipeline management, learning to build master calendars and tracking systems that manage your grant-seeking activities across multiple opportunities and funders.